Hey guys, Tony here. So I wanted to talk about Solana and the reason it actually dropped. So it did have a massive, well, not, I wouldn't say absolutely massive, but it did drop about 30%. And you guys can see that it did actually, what is it called? It did retest this 142 support that was created back here in early September. But it did come back, retest it. And as of right now, it really just depends on what you think Solana is going to do. The news was that there was a rumored bug, or not rumored, but there is a confirmed bug that happened on the Solana blockchain, and the developers actually paused all transactions, and there have been no transactions for the last maybe 3, 4, 5 hours or so. The issue here is that this completely makes Solana a centralized blockchain, which means that it is controlled over a certain entity or a certain people or companies, and the blockchain can be again turned on or turned off, which essentially makes it centralized, which makes it like any regular bank. So that's why you actually saw Solana's price drop so much, is because if people are going to be using Solana as a crypto, what's the point if it's just going to be used as a centralized blockchain, as opposed to being decentralized, which is what crypto is supposed to be. It's basically mirroring a bank if it's centralized, and that's why you saw that big massive drop in Solana. It wasn't necessarily because of the bug, it was because the developers actually stopped the blockchain, and that was why this drop happened. So keep in mind, everything is still pretty bearish on Solana, but if it does start recovering after bouncing from here, you can definitely see it jump again to the upside. But it really just depends if it breaks that 141 or 142 level of support, and if it does, I can definitely see it dropping back to $94. So keep in mind that I did think that Solana was actually gonna go possibly to like 286, possibly 300 in the next maybe week or so, couple of weeks, and it definitely had that momentum. Usually what happens with Solana when it turns into like a bear day or closes a bear cycle, it usually just kind of trades sideways and then pumps again. But this news definitely caught Solana off guard, and there's going to be a lot of back holders if we actually end up breaking that 142 level of Solana. So this is why sometimes you don't necessarily want to FOMO into certain things, because Solana, depending on how big this news is, which it seems like it is pretty big news, I can definitely see it drop back down to 94, and if it drops back to $94, I can definitely see it drop back down all the way, possibly to like $73 or so, and that would make it pretty heavy drop of 50%, and then possibly a drop of almost 70%. So we'll see what happens in the coming days, how big this actually impacts Solana and the whole blockchain as a network. They are, to my understanding, Solana is definitely one of the better funded projects. So I don't know if it'll go to zero, but I definitely think it has a chance of really hurting in the short term. So we just have to see how it plays out. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.